Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. So the most important news and editorial of the day that is relevant for the preparation of civil services prelims and mains examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 24th of December. The first important news that is world first transnational COVID-19 vaccine. Second, drone insurance policy. This is from the explain page of the Indian Express. Third, cabinet approved OROP, that is one rank, one pension revision for the veterans. Second last, social media appellate panels, and the last is an editorial on GM, the follow the science. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before I begin this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. Starting the session with the first news, that is world first intranasal COVID-19 vaccine, something important for General Studies paper 2 under the subtopic that is issues related to development and management of health. So the world first transnasal COVID-19 shot, which was manufactured by the Hyderabad-based company that is named as Bharat Biotech, will be available on CoWIN platform for the people. Now, why this decision was taken? Because there's a surge in the cases in China and many other countries like United States. The Omicron new variant, which is BF7. BF7 is a new variant that is available in Chinese infections rate, and even the infection rate for this virus is very high. So the reason being, the government of India is taking its all best possible caution and have introduced the first intranasal vaccine. The shot of Incovac, that is BV154, has received the approval from the CITSCO, that is the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, under the restricted use in emergency situation for the people or the age group of 18 and above of heterologous booster shots. Now, about the new nasal vaccines, this is a recombinant replica deficit adenovirus vector vaccine, that is pre-fused specialized spike protein होती है इसमें. इसके अलावा the vaccine candidate was evaluated in phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trial that was successful. The vaccine has specifically formulated to allow intranasal delivery through the nasal drops. Now, nasal vaccines versus the conventional shots, the intermuscular shots prompted an immune response that include T cells, which destroy the infected cell, and B cell, which produced antibiotics that neutralize the pathogens. Now, these antibodies circulates through the bloodstream and isn't high level of in the nose and lungs that lead to the problem, and even it provide the protections. So these antibodies, what they help, they actually circulate in the mainstreams of the blood, right? And at the high level, which reaches out to the nose and lung and provide the rapid protections. Meanwhile, the nasal can also not have a prompt of the whole body immune response, but they can also activate the immune cells in the mucous tissues, which is mostly found in the nose and the respiratory tract. तो ये nasal vaccine basically जितने भी esophageal regions हैं body में उस चीज के लिए काफी helpful है because it activate and responds immediately. Now, how does it actually function? Suppose if you are being administered with the nasal vaccines or nasal spray, this is how it will actually function. So once the spray is there in the body, it will prevent from the interactions of the spike protein with the host cell. And in line to that, the antibodies is mediated humoral immune response, that is a secretory IgA and IgG, that is immunoglobulin A and immunoglobulin G. Now the vaccines, the help in vaccine interactions with the nasal mucus to generate T cell mediated cellular immunotherapy. So this is how it actually functions. And the SARS-CoV-2 has some of the features like it has genomic RNA, membrane and spike protein. So the main aim of this spray that it destroy the spike protein as well, right? So this is how it will actually functions. Now, access to the nasal vaccines, the needle-free vaccines will be available at private hospitals, and now it's likely to be rolled out as a national COVID vaccination program soon by Government of India. The COVID platform is the only platform where you can register for the vaccination process, right? So this will be modified in this regard, and the option will also be provided to get the nasal vaccine. Currently, Bharat Biotech, Covaxin, Serum Institute of India, Covishield, and Russia's Sputnik V and the biological E Corbevax has been listed in the कोविन portal. तो ये कुछ important vaccines हैं जो इंडिया में operational हैं. Now, if you look into the part how this actually functions, the nasal route, the Bharat Biotech has come up with the intranasal COVID-19 vaccines, right, which is available for public use. It's a world first intratransnasal vaccines. It has double BV144 received for the approval. It was actually received approval in November itself. It's a rhombic recombinant replica deficient adenovirus vector, which is pre-infused with specialized spike protein, and the candidate was evaluated in phase 1, 2, 3 of the clinical trial. So what happens when you take it? It is likely to prevent the infections and transmissions and likely to prevent the disease. So the first point and main basically advantage of this nasal vaccine is that the infections which is being transferred to the other people immediately stops. Now, moving to the other news, drone insurance policy, something important for general studies paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementations. So the nascent drone insurance market, nations means the new insurance market which is there. So in India, it is seeing a flurry of activities. The recent Times bank and finance company like HDFC, Ergo, ICICI Lombard, Bajaj Alliance, and Tata AIG at the public sector New India Insurance has launched the UAV insurance. Why they have launched? Because this sector is flourishing and even it has a potential for the security purposes and for the insurance purposes, the companies are aligning themselves. Now, what's on the offer? The insurance player are now offering the drone coverage within the framework set by the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. According to the firm, the New India Unmanned Aircraft System or UAV, RPS or drone insurance will cover the large scale of solo flying gliders, and coverage will be offered to the drone owners, operationals, operators, and manufacturers. Now, the coverage under the drone insurance, the policy is designed to cover fixed wing, rotor wing, and hybrid UAS that will be controlled remotely or autonomous drones. The craft are generally deployed for the military and non-military applications, including the surveillance part, geography and infrastructure inspections for the aerial photography. And the new insurance has come up with some of the features like damage the drone and payload it carries, which provide coverage to the replacement and repair. एक्सीडेंटल लॉस और डैमेज के लिए भी जो यूएस के जो कंसर्न है with regards to the risk covered, including the disappeared of the US in unreported area, will also be covered under the coverage of the insurance. If you look into the drone market in India, as per the research report by the Ernst Young and Fickey, they have come up with the report that making India a drone hub of the world indicated that drones and elite component industries can boost in India, with manufacturing being reaching up to approximately of $23 billion by 2030. The report emphasized the need of innovations, competitive manufacturing capabilities, and a strong action plan that can make India a global hub. And even for the domestic drone manufacturing, it can reach an epitome by 2030. The high light of the importance of the generics basically generating strong demand, increasing the manufacturing investment and other facilitating as exports. Regulations in the drone sector, the Director General of Civil Aviation has initially offered the coverage for the drone, specifically for the visual line sights during the day. However, the insurance regulators had changed the guideline to cover the beyond the VLOS, that is the insurance regulator IRDA has asked the offer for the drone insurance and coverage. Globally, जो ड्रोन है उनकी कवरेज जो है will be classified as an aircraft, and aviation regulator has stepped up for the regulation of this sector. The government of India has sought the policies of Drone 1.0 2018 and Drone Policy 2.2, which is DCGA has recently approved. उसके अलावा लेटेस्ट में अभी ड्राफ्ट अनमैन्ड Aerial Vehicle System 2020 भी गवर्नमेंट ने अप्रूव किया. So all this regulation that is put in place by the government of India will be aligned, and accordingly the regulation will be there by the entities and even the insurance providers. Now, moving to the other news, Cabinet approved OROP revisions for the veteran, that is one rank, one policy, something important for General Studies Paper 2. Under the subtopic, Government Policies and Intervention for the Development of Various Sectors and Issues Arising from it, Design and Implementations. Recently, the Union Cabinet has approved the revision of pension for the retired soldier under the one rank, one pension formula. And this one rank, one pension formula implies to a uniform pensions to the personnel based on the rank and length of the services, irrespective of their date of retirement, right? So the issues of one rank, one pension revision has been pending since 2019, and the matter was also pleaded by the group of veterans to the Honorable Supreme Court. तो आर्म्ड फोर्सेस का जो पर्सनल है उस रिटायर्ड up to June 30th 2019 are allowed to cover under the revision policies by the government of India, and all in 25 lakh 13 lakh veterans are there, including 4.52 lakhs that are the new beneficiaries who are retired after 2014 will be benefited from this decision. Now, if you look into the background of this, the Union government has actually decided to implement one rank, one pension policies in defense forces. And this was issued with a letter notifications by the government of India in 2015 itself, where one rank, one pension was followed by the cutoff in 2014, right? The policy letters had mentioned in the futures, and the pension would be refixed after every 5 years, which ended in 2019. So the due was required, and in light of that, the government has taken the decision that yes, the changes has to be made in the revision policies of the one rank one pensions holder. Now, annual expenditures की अगर बात करें decision के बाद, a sum of 23,638 crore rupees will be paid as an arrear from July 2019 to June 22, and estimated additional annual expenditures for implementations of the revision has to be calculated and approximated around 8,450 crore rupees at the rate of 31% with the dearness relief. तो 31% तक की dearness relief भी दी जाएगी. Now, the measures that was taken by the government of India is the revised pensions under the one rank one pensions benefit expended to approximately 25.13 lakh armed forces personnel, right? And this estimated expenditures for the with the DNS allowance is 8,450 crore rupees and effective from 1st of July to 30th July 2022. Now, if you look into the post and rank upon which it is actually functioned, these are the data that might help you to get an idea. You can compare the picture. These are for the ranks for the major, colonel, brigadier, major general, and this is for the lower rank, that is Sepoy, Naik, Havildar, Sub-Inspector, Subedar, Sub-Major. So accordingly, these areas will be calculated by the government of India. Now, the other news, social media appellate panel, something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is the important aspects of governance, transparency, accountability, and e-governance. The central government is planning to create the appellate committee that are appointed by the center to handle the user appellate against the online intermediaries, given the redressal that could have a number of issues, including the content moderations, deplatforming, and data protections. The government is planning to create 3 of such committees which would be looking into the appellate part and will ensure that the social media that is being regulated should have the performing and data protections. Now, what is the grievance appellate committee in this context? So in October, the Ministry of Electronics and IT has notified the amendment to IT Act Rules 2021, where it has said that the government will appoint one or more grievance appellate committee. The committee is being formed to offer users an avenue to appeal the decision and grievance officer for online intermediaries. In light of that, government has also come up with this IT rules which specify how the grievance will be taken into consideration, and there's a timeline that is being decided by the government that this particular complaint or grievance that has been arisen should be imposed of immediately. Now, under the amendment IT rule, each GSE is stated to have a chairperson with the whole term will be appointed by the central government and with 2 independent members as a part of the team. Now, the grievance addressal committee will seek assistance from the people who may have adequate expertise and experience on the subject matter dealing with the user appeal. And the GSE will adopt an online dispute resolution mechanism which will have an entire appeal process with the final decision will be done at online process. The person who is aggregated by the decision of the grievance officer of the social media intermediaries can apply or appeal for the GSE within 3 days. And GSE is expected to deal with the appeal and resolve it within a month. So maximum time span for the earliest resolution will be given for a month. Now moving to the editorial of the day, that is on GM follow the science, something important for general studies paper 2, paper 3 precisely, that is relevant for the subtopic, that is conservation, environmental pollutions, degradation and EIA. So what are the issues under this editorial? First, talking about the theme. The theme of this editorial is GM crop and its regulations and the concern that is emerging from the sector. The issues are about the genetically modified crops, about the hybrid plants, mustard yields, GM Batsness Buster system, concerns, and the way forward. So the recent approval of the environmentally released of the genetically modified crop, that is the Dhara Mustard 11 hybrid, has in prenatal lines and attracted the attention for the public. And there has been some criticism from the stakeholders about this move. So stakeholders ने concern raise की है with government decision to align of the GM hybrid mustards. Now at the national agencies, the concern is with regards to agriculture, research, health, biodiversity, ecology, that evolve the risk and product that will be considered with the same. So the point is that whether these introductions in the environment will impact or it will have a repercussions on the part of the overall productions. The GM crops are grown over 30 countries and adaptation rate for the GM trot will be around 95% in some cases and no evidence with the adverse effect. This is what the scientists has quoted in their numbers. Now, about the genetically modified crops, these crops are derived from the plant whose genes are artificially modified using the insertion of genetic material from organism in order to give its properties such as increased yield, tolerance and herbicide resistance to disease, drought, and improved nutritional values. The probable best known variety of the GM is the golden rice. And GM is disruptive technology because it can bring about targeted change in the crop varieties that can be achieved through the normal breeding of the plant lines. Now, about the hybrid plants that result from crossing genetically diverse parents and even genetically demonstrate the high yield of the wire adaptations. This phenomenon is known as heterosis or hybrid vigor, which might be important for the prelims examination. A direct question can be framed about the process and the phenomenon, which has been widely exploited in the crop such as maize, millets, and rice flours, even for the sunflower and many vegetables. This part is being used. The hybrids typically shows 20 to 25% of the yield increase over the conventional breed varieties across the crop. Now, the hybrid technology can play an important role in boosting yields of the rapeseed mustard, which India is a major oilseed crop. Now, talking about the mustard yield in India, the current mustard yield in India is 1.3 ton per hectare, roughly half of the global average. And in 2021-22, India spent around 1,56,800 crore rupees on the import of 14.1 metric ton of edible oil, equivalent to 3 of our total domestic consumption. So the country like Ukraine, Russia's are mostly importing to India. And because of the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, the price surge was also evident in India. Now, the question with regards to the GM mustard cultivation should be answered simply, and even the current forex trend for the import of edible oil is a compelling concern and the reason. Now, the doubts would have been probably regarding the same thing. In the 16, which India leads to have ship to mouth existence for the food grains. Now, talking about the GM Barnes-Buster system, the GM Barnes-Buster system provide an alternative route for the hybridization of mustard that is a robust and address the fertility breakdown problem. This technology has been successfully deployed in other countries. The DHMS has been developed by scientists at the Delhi University Center for Genetic Manipulations and Crop Plantations. They have been used as a Barnes-Buster system with some improvement to breed the hybrid. This has undergone the required regulatory testing procedures and it was developed with all scientifically methods that was there. The assessment was the part of the main strategy. And even the GEAC, that is the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, have recommended for the environmental release of the DMH and for parental lines as well. Now, some concern with the DMH 11, that is the use of the promote of herbicides. The bar gene does not confer resistance with the herbicide glucofusinate, and this has been used firstly as a stable marker with the tissues culture during the breeding process. Secondly, the herbicide tolerant trait in both the Bernese female and the Pasteur male is likely to be exploited only on the productions of the hybrid seeds, that is not commercially cultivated for the hybrids. Now, the way forward, the ICR, that is the Indian Council for Agriculture Research, has publicly funded basically other institutions working of the breeding of the GM crop and differently traits higher yield biotic and abiotic still tolerance. Now, in the welfare interest of the farmers, the consumer, and the positive environment is created in the minds of the agriculture scientists to conduct the research in the biotic development, basically the crop development or the GM plant or crops development. The landmark decision in this is the government to approve the GM mustard should be taken with the logical conclusion. It should be considered with all the stakeholders, farmers, scientists, and then a regulatory framework should be also developed to ensure that this is used and basically utilized in the right directions. Now, moving to the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is C. For second question, also the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for practice: new umbrella entities for retail payment, only those entities that are owned by the citizen of India are the part of the segment of NUEs. No foreign investment in allowed in the NUEs with the existing guideline. Second question, with regard to electoral bond, all nationalized banks are authorized to issue the cash for the validity of 15 days from the date of issuance. These bonds are remittable at designated bank account for the political parties. So do check it out for the correct option. This type of question practicing will give you a concept clarity and will be relevant for the upcoming prelims examination as well. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.